The past year has been a bumpy ride for most marketers. There were a slew of changes that, in fact, have made a permanent place in the marketing strategies today, giving us a sense of how the consumer durable sector is coping up with these newfangled changes and about the marketing landscape at large. I have with me Anshuman Chakravarty, Head Brand and Corporate Communications at Orient Electric. Anshuman had a key role in the brand relaunch, unifying the businesses of fans, home appliances, and lighting under one umbrella brand. We welcome you, Anshuman.
Thank you, Soma, for such a lucid introduction. Thank you so much for hosting me, and thank you also Businessworld for hosting me.
Right. To begin with, Anshuman, so the consumer durable sector is getting back to normalcy, but at a slow pace. So as some semblance of work begins once again, how is the market waking up to the new realities?
Last year, the first quarter got completely washed out with the lockdown. And to let you know that largely we are in products which are summer products which are for cooling, which is fans and air coolers, which is a part of a portfolio. Yeah. So we also got impacted with that. But then I think we got some strong recoveries in quarter 3 last year, and that continued up to quarter 4. We could see a large pent-up demand which was there in the market, and it brought back the sentiments and brought back the purchasing power to the consumers. We could see the sales going up dramatically. And then at the end of the annual year, though the revenues we recorded flat, but our profit margins went up dramatically. So I think we ended up with a strong and a robust result in terms of profitability. And this was led by a couple of strong initiatives in terms of workflow management, in terms of ensuring safety and ensuring that we work completely on digitization and work ensuring that all our dealers are kept in with our strategies. And we also ensured that our stocks are stocked properly across the supply chain to ensure that we don't lose out on any part of the sale. So I think this year also we had a tough time because again the wave 2 hit us at the wrong time. Again, the season which is very primary to us. We lost out some sales obviously in this first quarter also, but we are hopeful of making it up in the next 2 quarters, and we are quite optimistic on that.
Correct. So delving deeper into what you just mentioned right now, Orient as a brand is present in categories that may be counted as essential items, right? So how did you ensure, or how are you still ensuring the smooth run of your processes across departments, plus your communication with probably the stakeholders or the consumers on that respect?
I completely agree. The demand for need-based products, especially home appliances, etc., this will continue to be there, whether it is a lockdown or not. And we are fortunate to be operating in the same domain. However, having said that, I think the lockdowns and containment, especially during the peak summer period, as I mentioned in F2 21 and 22, both has affected this segment and industry as a whole. Adding to this issue is further the skyrocketing raw material and input cost, which has gone up to 20 to 25%. While we have been able to absorb some of the price hikes as much as possible, but I think we had to pass it on, and I think the entire industry has passed it on to the consumers now. But the consumers have also accepted, and I think the acceptability is across geographies is visible there. We also did some product mix changes because we had to define what would sell now and what would sell better based on the inputs from the dealers and the supply chain network. So we also made some changes in the product mix. Under the given circumstances, I think we are exercising caution and continuing to remain agile and resilient to the advance growth momentum and enhance market share. Well, we also would like to address this margin pressure through combination of, as I said, price rise, but also in terms of increasing value for the customer. So I think these are two inevitable steps that we need to keep in mind while we go forward. And better production planning, inventory planning is something that we are focusing on. And last but not the least, focusing on cost reduction initiative. I think all these measures have actually helped us to define our strategy going forward. And as I always mentioned, that we have a very defined strategy to bring innovative products for the customers, which are healthier, safer, energy efficient, and add convenience to life. And being a consumer-centric company, we are listening to consumers even more distinctly what they want. And let me also tell you, last year when the pandemic hit us, we really said, what can we do for our consumers at this moment? And that is where we went across and figured out that consumers are wanting something as a product which can help them to sanitize their products at home. And something which is chemical free, which is something which is non-destructive. And we set across with our R&D teams, and I'm happy to state we brought a product called UV Sanitite. It's a sanitizing chamber. It sanitizes all inanimate objects in in 4 minutes. And that launch was done in 90 days. And that's the kind of agility and resilience the team showed and brought a new innovative product for the customers. Now, well, was it brought for sales? No. I think it was more importantly brought to make the brand remain important and gain prominence in such kind of situation. To be relevant for the consumers is far more important for us, and we proved that with our ability to bring out products of such nature.
That is excellent. So, can you give me a sense of your insights, say in terms of rural versus urban or offline versus online? How did that whole ecosystem work for you?
So, one important aspect that we witnessed during the lockdown is that there's a huge shift from online. I wouldn't say that the shift is happening only because of lockdown, but there is a transformative shift in terms of patterns of buying, and some of it will remain there, and this shift is not going to return back to the trade. So, offline online combination is something that we are distinctly monitoring. In fact, our online sales have doubled in the last financial year, and we are hopeful that we will also get an equal amount of growth this year as well on online. Our online strategies are also focused on improving our visibility and share of voice online. So we are also spending a lot more that we used to do on online. So these are a couple of areas that we are working on further, improve our online visibility, sales, as well as our online content. And what was the second part of the question? I missed out on that.
Rural versus urban.
Yeah, so rural is something that we are quite gung-ho. Also, because of the rising disposable income, though the pandemic has downplayed some aspect of it, but I'm quite clear that the rural market is far more resilient than to the urban. And it has remained far more elastic during the pandemic as well. We could witness stronger rebounds from the rural market, and the growth will come also because of the faster rural electrification which is happening there, and also the aspiration in the rural market for products which are far more innovative and aspirational living, which is driving them to go for these kind of products. Therefore, we are also looking at how we can ensure faster servicing and delivery to the retail channels. We're also expanding with the focus on how we can reach out to the rural customers in a better way. And also refiguring how we can improve the tax in the supply chain to ensure that we have a very clear focus on ensuring supplies and deliveries on time. We are also making a very agile demand forecasting system and inventory planning. I think that has become very, very critical at the moment to exactly forecast and demand and plan your inventories if you really want to focus on rural markets. And these are the levers which we are actually focusing on to get the rural market also wants products to their taste and preferences. For example, they want more robust products. So we are looking at those consumer insights as well to develop special products which actually caters to the rural market.
That's right. And taking cue from this answer, brands too have indulged in a vernacular approach, to market themselves with state level restrictions and lockdowns to these rural markets. How fruitful has that been, deploying these vernacular approaches? Do you think brands were able to pull it off successfully?
I think many of the brands have done it, and we are also doing it. Because we have restriction in terms of the spends this year, we have to be very cautious to be aligned to the revenue numbers and to spend. And B is that the local preferences are taking priority to be serviced more. When I say, for example, we have recently launched 2 specific products in the Tamil Nadu market, and therefore we need far more retail reach as well as retail communication in vernacular medium for that market. So whether the attire of the celebrity, to the colors of the product, to the colors of the advertising that we are doing, we are keeping the complete rural and the local taste in mind and using the vernacular content in a way palatable to their taste. So I think that's where we are going. In fact, we did a van activity in Tamil Nadu also, and also planning it now for other states. The van would travel to retailers and consumer touch points and explain our products. So all these are something that we're doing constantly, and the BTL spending, especially focused on rural and retail, has increased in the last few quarters.
So Anshuman, also consumer sentiment has been soft post the pandemic. We all agree on that. Where the spending on premium, items has also gone on hold. It was also found in a very recent report that consumer loyalty has shifted in this time, and they're more open to experimentation. So you being a marketer, what would be your suggestion to marketers, who aim to regain the lost trust and loyalty of these consumers?
I think loyalty and trust is something that you cannot endure and ensure unless you have a very robust strategy to address consumer needs. And to do that, you need to constantly hear what the consumers really want. We have been trying to reach out to get consumer insights to understand what their requirements are. And as a brand, we need to deliver those needs gap, address those needs gaps, and provide at affordable prices, at prices they can aspire for, and provide products which they can really ensure that gives a better life, better quality of life, as well as convenience and safety. So I think those are the basic principles that we look into whenever we go for a NPD. And rightly said, yes, premium products are under pressure. But it's not that it has eroded the market completely. There are value segments where we are playing very strongly, and I think we're doing fairly well there. It's not that we are under pressure anywhere. But yes, the base segment is something that we are focusing on in fans, which I think will give a larger spread of our products, and this will continue, especially at the rural and the tier 3 markets, where growth is fundamentally higher than the urban centers that we are witnessing currently. So it's a mix of things that we are doing, and I don't think the premium segment has died out. It will remain under pressure for some time. Let me also tell you that while people say products are premium, etc., work from home culture has also brought in, and you would see that across the consumer durable category. This category has grown in the last 1.5 years because people are working from home. They want convenience at home. They want things to be done quicker. So I think they have invested a lot in terms of purchasing these kind of product, and this is
they're actually upgrading. They're actually upgrading.
Yes. Yeah, they're upgrading, they're changing their appliances, they're looking for more comfort. So all these fundamental changes and shifts are visible very much in the consumer psyche and behavior. And we are monitoring that and accordingly developing products which could address their specific need gaps.
Right. Moving on, I think purpose also remained cornerstone to most of the marketing initiatives in the past 1.5 years. How do you assess the relationship between purpose and business today?
I think they have to marry always. They cannot live divorced. Business and purpose go together, and one needs to focus on how to drive purpose through your business. It's not the business to drive purpose, but the purpose to drive business. In doing so, I think very important is that one needs to be very clear what the brand or the company wants to do. Whatever efforts that you do should not be short term. It has to be sustainable and long term. In the entire process, the customer has to be at the center of your entire approach, and the fundamental lever should be driven through consumer insight and keeping the consumer at the centricity of every action. So I think both are extremely linked up. You cannot divorce these two fundamental pillars of your marketing approach. And in these testing time, I think your purpose gets tested more than your business. So if your purpose is well defined and you have the track, where you want to lead the brand and the business, you would reach the destination.
Very well said. So my last question for you is, what are the trends that you anticipate in the industry? Perhaps any irreversible changes that you see?
Many. I think the new normal has brought in some unthinkable shifts, both in personal and professional lives. I had stopped playing and investing time on myself. I have started doing so because health is the fundamental thing that one needs to take care of. So I'm spending 30 minutes to 45 minutes every day playing table tennis, which I left many years ago. And it has also taught us the importance of digital. Whether it is myself getting and buying things on digital, but many things have switched on to digital. So these are fundamental changes that I think brought across in my personal life. Also, responding to this crisis, agility and resilience has been my two keywords, which are been extremely important in driving the business back to track. I think the companies which were agile and resilient have been able to do that. Especially speaking on the marketing point, I think while we have been exploring digital in a different way, the pandemic also gave us an opportunity to analyze digital in a far razor sharp focus, with a razor sharp focus. And also analyze our ROIs. And I think we are on a right track, and digital is the way forward. We also looked at engagement levels, especially in the pandemic. People are spending a lot of time on social and digital platforms. The engagement rate was also going up. So that also showed us that brands need to deliver content which is not only for selling, but something where the consumers want to engage with you, want to learn from you. So these are the key learnings and the shifts that I saw, especially from the consumer durable segment and in my personal life. But beyond that, there are a lot of shifts which is happening, which I mentioned also, is that the increase in online buying which has happened, and especially in our segments. Digitization and automation. Today, I don't sign any invoice. Everything is digitized. I don't actually need to go to office. So the complete marketing operation is being automated and digitized. Rural is a demand which is coming up, and as I said, we need to focus on bringing products meted to the requirements of rural. You cannot just sell urban products and re-engineer products for rural. You need to listen to their requirements and design products to their needs. And we need to be agile to supply chain planning, and something where we can bring efficiencies and reduce our costs. These have been the key pillars, and we are driving that in our entire focus on business.
No, I totally second you on that. Thank you so much for your time, Anshuman. It was great speaking with you, and I do have a lot of takeaways from this interview. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and also to the Businessworld team.